Okay, so it's been a very productive day. And for me personally, it was very interesting to hear about Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone and hearing that this time they are very serious. But what we've been hearing so far is very high level initiatives. And investors here would probably give you a little bit grounded real world challenges we are facing in developing ecosystem and growing business innovation here. So with that, we want to go for a round of introductions. So we will ask you to introduce your background, what your organization does, and particularly what are your interest area these days.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. My name is Sosi, the partner at Cocoon Capital. So I joined Cocoon about 8 years ago, and I'm also an ex-entrepreneur, where we bootstrapped our startup from a team of 3 to a team of 15. We grossed about 250 million in revenue, and that was in blockchain infrastructure. So what I do, based on that is to take a lot of that experience and work with the portfolio companies that we have at Cocoon. And where Cocoon plays is we invest in early stage B2B enterprise and deep tech startups across Southeast Asia.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andy. My personal background, I was a startup product individual professional in the US for 12 years. I built products for digital ventures, scale it up, fundraise, international expansion before I came back to this part of the world where I held a couple of senior roles in corporate innovation. That includes our oil and gas company, Petronas, before I joined Flight Blake as a country GM taking care of Malaysia business. So here at Play, we do three things. One is early stage investment across 25 verticals globally. We are one of the most active early stage investor in the world, over 2,000 plus investment every year, including the manufacturing sector. And we do ecosystem development. So we work with corporates, government, state entities. We accelerate their initiative in the transformation or innovation space. And lastly, we do corporate innovation. So we help corporates embrace innovation, whatever their aspiration or their transformation journey, we help them to get there.
Hi everyone, I am JJ. I am a venture architect at ASEAN Ventures. We are a Singapore-based deep tech venture builder. Been around for about 4 years with 15 portfolios and 1 exit. My personal background, I used to be a entrepreneur in a B2B software company. So that I joined an e-commerce tech company that's actually based in Malaysia here in KL. After I left that, I joined ASEAN Ventures. So a little bit about ASEAN Ventures, deep tech venture building. What we do is we bring science to market. So we work with the research institutes in Singapore, taking the IPs from A-Star, NUS, NCO, and we validate them and bring them build into a venture that's investable, and then bring them across the board. We also invest in the pre-seed and seed round. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. And a bit of context for investment community. Investing in manufacturing sector is relatively recent trend because investors don't like to invest in manufacturing sector, especially in early stage, because it involves manufacturing, actual production, capex, and that's something that investors do not want to take risk, especially on early on. But maybe it's a C. Your company used to invest a lot of B2B enterprise software, but venturing into manufacturing type of startup. And can you tell us a bit more about the background and then what particular opportunities do you see?
Yeah, so I think because we do focus on the B2B side, I think inadvertently some of our startups do touch manufacturing either themselves or they do serve the manufacturing sector in terms of process optimization software or different sort of IoT sensors that can enhance the capabilities of existing sort of machinery on the manufacturing line. So I would say there's a lot of issues that would face startups in the space. Most of the time, and the most pertinent is working capital, right? Especially when it comes to a manufacturing-based startup. Whereas with your legacy companies, you tend to have a good history and you have financial performance already. You can go to the bank, you can get an affordable loan. Most startups that are new within the first 2 to 3 years, and also typically when they need to start their manufacturing, that's when they face a crunch, right? And most of them will then go to the easier option, which is to raise equity funding instead of debt financing. So that has traditionally been a challenge, I would say, about between 4 to 5 years ago. That said, I think as the whole Southeast Asia ecosystem matures, what you're seeing now is different forms of financing available to startups. So this comes from banks, this comes from private credit funds, and also some VCs having an in-house debt fund as well. That solves, I would say, the biggest problem for manufacturing-focused startups. That's it. The next part is actually working with the founders. A lot of founders in the manufacturing space, are domain experts. So many of them know how to design chips, they know how to design software, but they may not have the experience in running a business. So that's typically where people like, I think all three of us on this stage come in. We help the founders work out a proper business model so that their technology can actually make money.
So yeah, especially in the manufacturing sector, we have founders with very strong domain knowledge, but limited business experience. And maybe I ask JJ to expand a little bit more on that because his company actually really trained those PhD type of domain expert to found the company and scale it. So what are your challenges?
All right. So challenges in deep tech space, manufacturing. Actually, on the flip side, we found that it's great on the pen, mainly because it's in this part of the world and this region, there's very little people that actually know how to do manufacturing, right? If you case in point, one of our popular companies, Presium, which is actually co-invested by Jones firm as well. They hired 5 head of manufacturing, 4 of them, and only at the last one, right? Only at the last one, and they finally got it right. So they actually had a PO with a company in the Philippines, and then they brought in the manufacturing head, they screwed up the manufacturing, and then lost the company, and then they had to find a new company afterwards. So we found that current use in the manufacturing space is really quite difficult to find someone that knows how to build up a manufacturing supply chain from the get-go. Working with researchers, it's also quite different. They have the technical know-how, but they are working with, I would say, grants from the research institutes, which means they are less scrappy. They are less, they're not as CTO. So there's a gap to be breached. In Singapore specifically, I'm not entirely sure about Malaysia, but in Singapore, there are grants in, let's say, research institutes like A-Star, called a TF grant, that allows researchers to be seconded to the startups to do technological transfer. And this allows the talent gap to be breached.